As soon as tomorrow, maybe by the weekend. Meanwhile, here in Lexington, Coach Cal was asked about the calls to change the name of Rupp Arena.
I'm all ears. I'm going to listen. But here's what I do know. The university is doing stuff going forward. Diversity issues on our campus they're dealing with. Very important for us. What we're doing in the Minority Leadership Initiative, we are taking the front position in this, the lead position.
Cal was also asked if he had heard anything from his players regarding Rupp. He said he has not. Keith, we're also hearing that the UK football team has walked out on practice collectively today, also in response to the protests for racial and social justice.
But, you know, that's something that we've seen when this all really started to pick up steam at the start, maybe of the summer, I guess it was, after George Floyd, when we saw how everybody was so pleased with the way Mark Stoops was handling his program, giving his players the chance to walk downtown earlier. And then, of course, Vince Marrow, his good friend for all these years, he just continues to talk about how much Coach Stoops is helping out his team and being somebody that has their backs.
Again, it's not about them not wanting to play. It's about them wanting us to talk about something else and to listen to what they're saying. All right, now, here's the big news, Keith, involving LEX 18 and UK. By now, hopefully you know you are watching the official station of Kentucky Athletics. As part of that, we will be debuting a new show called BBN Game Day this Saturday, 8:30 a.m. The premiere episode will be packed with interviews from Coach Cal and Mark Stoops. Here's a little preview of Keith's talk with him.
Our players, a lot of these guys have been around for a few years offensively, so we have a good experienced group. I'm really excited about our young players. I feel like this freshman class is by far the strongest group as a whole, just top to bottom, that we've recruited.
That and so much more coming up Saturday morning. Also, as part of the new deal with LEX 18 and UK, Hey Kentucky will soon be replaced by BBN Tonight, airing in our nightly spot at 7:30. So still tune in to this spot because you're going to get all your UK news, interviews, stories. It's so exciting.
I'm glad that we're a part of it. We're getting the chance to work and continue what we've done here with Hey Kentucky during this pandemic. And then on top of that, we're going to have many more faces, many that you recognize from the past that are going to show up. We're going to have a lot of inside access thanks to the University of Kentucky and JMI, and a chance just to interview people a little more closely than we do now. And this is going to be the one place to get it, 7:30 to 8 o'clock every night. And then, of course, on Saturday with Game Day, too.
BBN Tonight. So excited. Stay tuned.
Yes.
All right, turning to the pandemic now. The CDC is facing criticism over recent changes to testing guidelines, including from Governor Beshear and Kentucky's top health official. One change is that a person without symptoms doesn't necessarily have to get tested, even if they've been in contact with someone that has COVID-19. Take a look at the CDC website and you'll notice a change. It now says if you've been exposed to the virus but don't have symptoms, you do not need a test unless you're a vulnerable individual or your doctor or local health officials recommend one. Health Commissioner Dr. Stephen Stack worries some may use this as an excuse not to get tested.
We know that as many as 40% of people may be walking around infected and spreading the symptoms, but not, or the infection, but not having any symptoms or signs.
Governor Beshear backed up the criticism, calling the CDC's change reckless. One federal health official says the CDC was pressured to change the guidance, but an assistant cabinet member denies it. Keith, this situation continues to evolve, but I think about all the universities right now that are testing thousands and thousands of people, most all of them without symptoms. They're getting a lot of positives. I don't know how many of those are symptomatic.
I think it can only help, though, because then you've got some place to start. Like everybody came into UK, got tested. Now you know where you stand, and now you know as you keep testing, you know which way it's going, up or down. And so I think it's pretty important to do it that way.
Yeah, especially when so many are asymptomatic. But that is the new guidance. Virtual learning is underway now for students in Kentucky's two biggest cities, and the results have been mixed so far. Some teachers and students in Lexington say they were able to get through early glitches, while some families say they did not receive enough information on the virtual learning academy going into the start of school yesterday. As we talked about last night, there's been a shortage of Chromebooks for kids. Meanwhile, in Louisville, public schools may drop Google Meet in favor of another video conferencing software for live instruction after classes at some middle and high schools experienced isolated disruptions on the first day. Keith, there was some Zoom hacking even going on.
Oh my, that's kind of par for the course with what we had heard from many different people yesterday online, and again, some of the people that I talked to. Hopefully there's, it's the start. Let's give them a little time to work out the kinks, and hopefully there are none of those Zoom folks popping in on classes and things like that. But that's the only thing I think I would worry about. Other than that, everybody else is going to get onto their classrooms and take their classes the right way.
It's going to take a minute. Everything is different. So the first and second day,
Yeah.
we're all still learning. All right, now
Teachers
to our
are learning too.
Exactly. Now to our weekly feature on Hey Kentucky. What's the Beef? Sponsored by the Kentucky Beef Council. First up, the leader of the state's Senate says the Republican-dominated legislature plans to rein in the Democratic governor's authority next year. Senator Damon Thayer's comments about Andy Beshear come as part of the latest criticism of the governor's decision to remove the executive director of his Office of Agricultural Policy. And in Louisville, a Metro Council committee is considering an ordinance that would define when and how LMPD officers can use force. Among other measures, the legislation would limit when police can use chemical agents like tear gas, particularly during protests. And that's tonight's edition of What's the Beef? Up next on Hey Kentucky, I'll talk with a beat writer who follows the Pittsburgh Steelers. ESPN's Brooke Pryor will fill us in on the upcoming season for former Wildcats in black and gold, like Benny Snell and Bud Dupree. Stay with us.